Cryptolids and crypto crackheads. This is an Ethereum only video. Today's Monday, July 19th, 2021. And let's have the initiation of timification only after you turn up the playback speed to ×2. Or if you're a non-native English speaker, 1.5x speed, turn it up for your viewing pleasure and let's get after it. So I'm going to make an Ethereum video again here because for the mixture of two reasons. First, Ethereum is likely affecting the price of Bitcoin, and or they're not going to move up one without the other with that idea. That's a loose assumption, fairly safe assumption, but a lot of my safe assumptions in the past have been wrong, so I want to be very specific, and I'm labeling it as an assumption, okay? But it's still, I think it's a safe assumption, but it could be wrong. And two, right now is an integral moment within Bitcoin's price action because the consensus is either Bitcoin's going to fall off a cliff or it's going to go on some type of rally, regardless of whether that rally is sustained to all-time highs or not. Something big's about to happen. So if Ethereum doesn't look like it has a chance of moving up, then it'll probably not let Bitcoin move up, which means Bitcoin will probably go down and Ethereum will go down more too. So, with those two things, the dots connected there, I guess the third dot is that there might be some things in the Ethereum chart which indicate what what might or might not happen during this potential move that we're about ready to get within cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin. And it might provide evidence to the exact opposite of what you were thinking by viewing the Bitcoin chart, but they should be pretty in line with each other. So if you're trading Bitcoin and you're not looking at Ethereum, you might want to start looking at it because they're moving totally differently, and they're probably going to move together. So here we go. So right now, I want to start off by, I usually start on the weekly, but let's start on the daily 200. And let's get rid of everything. Okay. So as you can see here, above the orange line is good, below it, it's bad. And there was a time where it was, as a long time, 2019, 2020, where it was hovering around it. So what I want to do here is look at the interactions that Ethereum price has had with the daily 200 and study them real quick because there aren't that many of them, so we can get a better idea of what might be happening here as Ethereum truly is really tinkering and playing with its daily 200 EMA, or you can make it like, you know, the weekly, it's probably the weekly 21 as well or something like that. Let's see here. Nope, broke. So probably it's approaching its weekly 55 now. Nope, it's actually in no man's land. So I'm still going to start with the daily, but you can see here, it looks like Ethereum wants to come down and touch this. You're getting a bearish cross here, right? Or Ethereum could avoid this bearish cross or work to avoid it in some type of relief rally because Ethereum price might have done that in the past. So let's see. Let's take off price here and just mark the times where it crossed down. And those might be the points. If that point gets close to where Bitcoin was playing with the daily 21, that might be a bigger point of interest is what I'm doing here. Okay, because we have the bearish cross and I'm looking at the other bearish crosses. All right, so here we go. Go back to the daily. Throw on only the 200 EMA. And let's take a look here. So after its blow off top, came down and tagged the daily 200. Quick little rally, tanked through, came back above, and failed. So remember that pattern. Had like a blow off looking top. First tagged, rally, broke through, resurfaced, but then failed. So let's see how similar or not similar that is to what's going on now. Blow off looking top, tagged it, relief rally, went under it, not nearly to the same extent, resurfaced, and it couldn't hold it. So the one major difference here is in that last fractal that we're looking at. Price did come significantly lower on a percentage basis. So 13% below. I mean, this was like 50 something. Yeah. So that's 40 something percent. So that is actually a pretty big difference. That's a monster difference. All right. So let's take a look at another cross. Pretty nice run. Came back, nailed it, and couldn't get above. Used it as resistance immediately. So we just saw that that's clearly not what Ethereum's doing. It did not use this line as resistance immediately. So it went from resistance straight back to resistance without being able to prove it as support. So that's not similar. Here, it just tanked through and kept going down. But then had an extremely aggressive rally up. And as we can see, that is not what happened. It actually pinged off. So one of them is fairly similar outside of the fact that Ethereum has stayed a lot stronger this time. So the chance that it stays surfaced above the daily 200 might be a little higher. Could be a little higher. However, you'll see here that these pings right here, I didn't mark it. Why? I only didn't mark it because I'm pretty sure it's the weekly EMAs didn't exist there. But they look pretty similar. Let me see. Nope, they did exist. I was incorrect. Maybe more like this, where it worked to avoid a cross. Let's put price back on. But it didn't hit the daily 200 there, did it? Nope, did not. So different situation on the weekly EMAs, similar, potentially similar situation in specific regard to the daily 200. So Ethereum had a blow off looking top, came down and pinged it, came back up, pinged it again, and stayed resurfaced immediately, which is only a little different than what's happened. It would have stayed resurfaced here, but it's breaking back through. Let's take a fractal of that, see how close the price action actually is. Let's take it to when it might be breaking all-time highs. Let's go to like there. See if this looks anywhere similar to what's happening to price now. I think it's too tall. Right like that. High to low is exactly the same. Only difference here is this little relief rally did stay surfaced a little bit better. But then when it came up, it did crash back down, which would be similar to Bitcoin going, this would be the equivalent to Bitcoin going to like 55K and then crashing right back down to 35, which is a very plausible scenario. So structurally, this looks the same. It's, however, the major difference so far is that the EMA setup was quite a bit different. So there could be more pressure down. There's more pressure down now than there was during this fractal. However, price is farther down than this fractal. So it's very possible that if pressure changes, it could follow this same exact path, especially in specific regard to avoiding or working to avoid this weekly cross, which there weren't really that many great examples in Ethereum price. That cross right there. All right, so going to Bitcoin, you can see that it likes to work to avoid crosses, especially on the weekly. So I'll take off price right here, this cross. So look how it almost crossed, and then it did cross. Watch. as it almost crossed, a relief rally happened and worked to avoid it. And then it couldn't stay surfaced. So Ethereum doesn't have very many great examples of that particular play happening. But it does happen. Actually, let's yeah, we kind of already looked at this, but let's look at it on the weekly. I guess you can see it. See this cross? It had a relief rally after it happened, so it really didn't work to avoid it, but it worked to undo it. It worked to undo that cross. Not quite at the same exact time. Here, the same thing. It worked to undo this red cross right there. So see that price action? It all happened in a trough right around this, and it worked to avoid or undo that cross. Because that cross means a lot. And it's also a classic bull trap type of method. So just a heads up. Which this would mean a bull trap as well. So these are the variants of how Ethereum has tinkered with its daily 200. Ethereum doesn't have a ton of price history. I think it came out in 2017. However, the one that structurally looks pretty similar without regard to the setup of the daily or the weekly EMAs, this would oddly align with the idea that I've been having that Bitcoin and Ethereum probably won't flirt with all-time highs until roughly the new year. Look, right at Christmas, right around, and then break it like substantially in January. So actually, I think I might leave that on here to see how that plays out. And I might put on another one. Which other one was similar here? I might overlay it. With this one. And make this one a different color. So check it out. This also, unfortunately, looks very similar. Look. All right. And then the daily 200 would go something like this. And they would become resistance after a kind of relief rally up that fails miserably. And that would bring it out to July 2022. That would be ugly. That would be really ugly. Versus the bullish scenario. So let's leave those right there. Those were the two most similar structurally. Now, let's not wax philosophically, and let's look at more realistic, what's happening with price right now. So I usually like to start with the week. And make basic observations. Sometimes I take off price to look what's going on. You're getting ready to get a bad bearish cross. Price is in no man's land, which means it really will have an affinity to tagging this next line down. Or less. Look, when it was in no man's land, it came back more to tag that. Wonder what that hit. I wonder what that hit. Did it just hit a horizontal? Yeah. Oh, it hit all this right here. Okay. Yeah. Did that align with like the daily 377? Nope, even lower. 2-day? You would think there was something else there. Interesting. It just came down and hit the horizontal. So let's take a look here. Where's our next horizontal? Market structure high. It kind of got the heights of this. So let's take a look here. Last market structure high, somewhere in the heights of it, maybe about right there. Lo and frickin' behold. That's where it's at right now. And let's go to that one, see how far it dipped below. With the idea that Ethereum could move fairly similarly. It stopped right. It wicked below. So it wicked below twice, actually. And the second time it wicked below, that was a green hit. It ended up flipping green. This will technically be the third time it wicks below, but fairly similar to the two candles that came down to touch it. So I guess Ethereum does have the potential to stop here and not come touch this, because it did it after its previous blow off top, if you're also considering this blow off top. But in this blow off top, it came below it to hit the previous structure high area, and that's what it's doing right now. And there it actually went below, so it's just stopped in no man's land in general, right? So not at a weekly EMA, and right now it's in no man's land, but actually it's close to the daily 200 EMA. So horizontals have a history of creating a bounce area for Ethereum. Plus you have the support, hopefully, of the daily 200 if it becomes support. Right now it looks like it could become resistance. It's broken support. Let's see if it can regain it. And then short-term ribbons. They got right to the line. Let's see what they did then. If I can go back that far, hopefully I can. Yes. So price turned up right as the ribbon touched it. That's crazy. All right, well, let's go see what happens here. Remember, this is more funsy analysis, just viewing charts until you see something. So it's already passed it once. And it's just now hitting it. Oy. I think what's going to happen in Bitcoin is going to be more obvious on Ethereum. If Ethereum breaks this, the most hopeful scenario after that, from a structure standpoint, is 1534, but more likely 1300, which is the previous market cycle high. It would probably hit the bottom of this. So instead of holding, if the top doesn't hold, it's likely to hit the bottom, as opposed to finding it somewhere in the middle support, which it could. So let's see what is here on the weekly EMAs. So the middle one aligns with the 55, and soon the bottom one is going to align with the 89. So it could be that the market's waiting on Ethereum to hold this as support or not. because Bitcoin got down to where it is much more quickly. So it might be holding out to decide on what Ethereum's getting ready to do in specific regard to that bearish cross. Is it going to work to avoid it or not? Yeah, Bitcoin's just been hanging out. It already had its bearish cross. Hey, before we make a decision, let's see what Ethereum's going to do about this bearish cross. I just waited on Ethereum. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the bearish cross. I'm just going to wait till it happens to Ethereum, and then I'll make up my mind. Might be about what's ready to happen. What else can we see in these charts? So you're getting raw analysis. Just how do I view the charts and how do I start seeing stuff pop out at me? Well, that 15-minute 200 EMA could give you the signal. Look how well it gets the heights and lows of everything. That's kind of freaky. Holy cow. Look at that. See, I told you, if you just stare at charts long enough, you'll start seeing stuff, and you might be able to, figure out new ways to view stuff. All right, well, I think what I would do for Ethereum is I would look for a strong move above that forms a higher low, and it maintains. Here was a fake out, clearly. But usually it has a pretty good track record of saying when a move up is going to happen, whether that's sustained or not. So this move up only lasted 10 days. But since things are at an integral point, and whichever direction things decide, they might continue going up that way pretty hard. If you're looking for a bullish move, I would look at the 15-minute 200 EMA. It's gotten things right pretty well. And it's right at this line of no return. So if this 200 EMA just keeps pushing it down, Ethereum's coming down to 1,500 and Bitcoin's going to drop to 26 to 24K. And now's the time it's got to decide, because that orange, so you can see here, as that orange line crossed, that's when the move happened. And it's getting ready to cross. So let's pan this out here, draw it out. That's when it crosses. See what day that lands on. Tomorrow, which is the second day of the week. But it actually it did it right as it crossed. I would look for a move up on Ethereum above this horizontal at 1843, and I would look for it to get above and stay above. So as opposed to getting above and failing immediately within the same day, you'd want to see it stick that landing, which means it would also stick the landing on this horizontal here too. And so a very quick confirmation tool, which could lead to more false reports, right? Or false alerts, is that once it flies past, if it can stick that landing and keep moving up, then you have a chance for a type of rally. But a lot of times it just peeks its head above and comes right back down. And if it does that, then Ethereum's probably going to keep moving down pretty heavily. Just look how well this gets the heights of everything. That's something else. All right, let's look at the 4-hour real quick, because I typically like the 4-hour the best for signals. Ooh, that looks bad. So the 4-hour is going to be kind of in line. This 4-hour has, has dictated a lot of price action of Ethereum. Blew past it, couldn't keep it. Tagged it. See all those wicks right to it? So the 4-hour 10 and the 15-minute 200 are moving pretty similarly. They're both going to cross this line about at the same darn time. This is going to cross it sooner. This is today. 1, 2. Which means it's got to make up its mind by tomorrow. And you can see the last time the 4-hour 10 EMA went below, Ethereum quickly made up its mind. So we're about here. I'm thinking a move's going to need to happen here. And so if you want a quick way or an analytic tool to determine, hey, you know, should I switch my position or start taking profits or get out of my trade, especially if you're in a short, is if you see the 10 EMA of the 4 hour or the 200 EMA of the 15 minute, however you trade, crackhead timeframes or more reasonable timeframes, as you see the 4 hour 10 or the other EMA get below here, if you don't see a nice reaction, it's probably going to keep going down. That's how I would view this, and I think it would pull Bitcoin down with it. So really, since Bitcoin's doing the same old darn thing, I think all eyes might want to be on Ethereum right now. It's at a very pivotal moment. Let's look at it on a monthly chart real fast. So Ethereum is still above its monthly 10, and Bitcoin broke below it. And if Wyckoff is only happening on Bitcoin and not Ethereum, which means price is more suppressed than it naturally would, Ethereum is going to need to hold that line. And the month closes in 12 days. But I think Ethereum has to make up its mind before the end. So also on the Ethereum month, if this month starts creeping towards here, I think that means it's going to keep busting through, folks. Because I think that Ethereum will have to make up its mind one way or another within the next day or two. And when it busts that, it keeps going down for quite a while. Sure, there was a relief rally thereafter, which would be equivalent to August. I mean, but anytime it breaks it to the downside, it's extended. Look, extended. So my interpretation of this is potentially, if this Wyckoff accumulation and distribution then accumulation pattern truly is a suppression of price by multi-billion-dollar entities, that Ethereum would give better signals in specific regard to the next big move. And because it looks like Ethereum has to make up its mind soon, mixed with it's got to stay above that 10 in order to have a chance at continuing, I think in the next few days, if Ethereum allows its 4 hour EMA or 4 hour 10, 4 hour 10 EMA to push it below this line, I think that means it's made up its decision in the down direction. And I think price is going to tank below the monthly 10, just like Bitcoin lost its monthly 10. And I think there's going to be extended downturn. So right now, Ethereum still has a chance to pull everything out of this crypto winter, because this isn't being as affected and price as suppressed as Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is behaving like it's never behaved before. Ever. Ethereum's behaving pretty regularly. So I think that's all I got for you. So in order to understand what's going to happen with Bitcoin and the whole market next, this is my case to why all eyes might want to be on Ethereum. Even if you're still trading Bitcoin, be watching Ethereum price, especially that 4 hour 10 with that horizontal line. Once it breaks it, I guess technically it would be breaking it about right there. Once it breaks it, which is going to happen anytime, you're going to have to see a move above it. And if you don't, everything's getting ready to drop. Most likely. Unless it's a very impressive bear trap, which could happen too. So that's all I got for you on Ethereum price. So these videos, sometimes to have funsies, I like to come at it and just speak out loud to tell you what I'm thinking, as opposed to planning, some video. So if you don't like these, more raw analysis type of videos, just let me know in the comment section. I'll probably do fewer, or I won't do a whole bunch more, right? I won't allow them to become frequent. And if you did like what you saw, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think Ethereum is going to do. But also, more importantly, let me know if you think Ethereum could potentially pull Bitcoin out of its current hole. So we'll see you next time. Have a good Monday, and we'll see you later.